Red meat is going to kill you, give you cancer, heart disease. Is that just media propaganda, or is that actually true? I'm going to share with you some benefits of eating red meat, and then I'm going to talk about the whole cancer and heart disease argument and clear that up so we have a full understanding. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my controversial opinion on why they want us to stop eating red meat and why they want us to start switching over to a plant-based diet. So first up, why would you want to eat red meat? Well, of course, red meat tastes great. Having a steak at a restaurant is one of my favourite foods to eat. But beyond just taste, when we're looking at food, we have to look at how nutrient dense is that food. What are the nutrients in that food? Red meat is very high in protein and it offers a complete amino acid profile, which is obviously going to help us build more muscle. In particular, the amino acid leucine, which is the most important amino acid for building muscle. On the fat loss side of things, eating red meat is great for fat loss as well, because consuming protein is going to keep you more full for longer, which will help you when you're eating in a calorie deficit. Red meat is absolutely packed with nutrition. Creatine, which is very important for building muscle, Carnosine and Carotine. We have B vitamins, including vitamin B12. Funny enough, something that vegan and plant-based diets have to supplement with because their diet sucks, so they have to supplement with B12. Red meat has zinc, iron, vitamin A, essential fatty acids such as DHA and EPA. Red meat even has important trace minerals such as selenium. It's got antioxidants. As we can clearly see, red meat is extremely dense in nutrition. We know the benefits of red meat, but can red meat actually cause cancer? Well, let's clear that up. There is absolutely no evidence. There is not one study on the planet today that proves that grass-fed, grass-finished red meat, which is how the cow should be fed, can cause cancer. There is not one study on the planet today that proves that. What they actually do, purposefully in my opinion, and if an idiot like me can figure this out, then surely they know exactly what they're doing, is when these studies find a correlation between meat and cancer, which correlation does not equal causation, as we know, what they fail to mention is that the meat in these studies is corn-fed, so genetically modified grains. The cows are treated very poorly. They are pumped with antibiotics and injected with growth hormones, and then they wonder why those things might cause cancer. It's nothing to do with the red meat, it's the way these animals are treated and what they are doing to the animals that is showing that link. The other big scam with these studies is that they're all observational studies. An observational study is basically a survey. So they survey the participants and ask them basically what they ate. These studies are not taking into account anything else in their diet that they may have ate. Did they not ever think that sugar and processed carbohydrates and junk food and even smoking cigarettes might be some of the reasons why these participants had a higher rate of cancer, not because they ate red meat? And this is exactly why they will not ever do a controlled trial where they isolate red meat only and then try to prove that it causes cancer or heart disease. And the reason is because, quite simply, they won't get the desired result that they want, which we'll talk about in a second. So this leads us to scam number 2. Red meat will cause heart disease because of the saturated fats and cholesterol. Let me just remind you guys that without saturated fat, if you did not eat saturated fat in your diet, you would die. You cannot live without saturated fat. You need saturated fat to optimize your hormone levels. Your brain needs a lot of fat. Your brain is very fatty. The brain would simply die without saturated fats. It's a very similar story with cholesterol. Without cholesterol, you would die. You cannot live, you can't produce testosterone without cholesterol. In fact, your body actually makes around 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol a day on its own. The thing people forget about cholesterol is if you was to eat a lot of cholesterol, your body will simply just produce less. It's almost the same as sitting outside in the sun. After around 30-40 minutes of sat outside in the sun, your body will absorb around 40,000 IUs of vitamin D3 from the sun. Now, if you was to sit in the sun for 5 or 6 hours, your body will not continue to absorb more and more and more vitamin D. The body is not stupid. When it's had enough of what it wants, it will stop taking in more. So as I promised, guys, my controversial take, and I don't really think it's very controversial, I see it as a matter of fact, as to why they want us to eat a plant-based diet and to stop eating red meat. They try to say that red meat is bad for the environment because it increases methane in the atmosphere. Well, that's simply not true if you look at the data. Since 1989, so basically 30 years ago, let's say, the world cattle population has actually gone down by 10%. So we've lost 100 million cows over the last 30 years. However, the methane in the atmosphere has gone up 30%. So the methane has gone up 30%, the cows have gone down 10%, but these people are trying to tell you that cows are what's destroying the environment, and that's simply not true. It's other environmental factors. Once you prove them wrong on this point, they then say, well, it's not ethical to kill animals. Well, vegans are killing a lot of animals also. To harvest wheat, you're killing animals like rats, rabbits, insects. You're killing a lot of animals to harvest that wheat. So that's a poor argument also. So here's my theory about why this agenda is being pushed. If you look at the world today, it's messed up, and the deeper down the rabbit hole you go, the worse it gets. Our biggest problem is broken homes, broken family homes, single mother households, young men and young women without a father figure. We've basically got young, weak men with no direction, that don't know what to do. We've got women who have forgot how to be women. Our children are being totally brainwashed by the media. TikTok is a good example of that. We have the lowest testosterone levels in young men in recorded history, and I don't think that's a coincidence. The reason I think they're trying to stop us eating the healthy foods such as red meat and eggs, if you look at the egg shortage that we had, is because these foods optimize a man's testosterone, they make us stronger, and testosterone is the hormone that makes a man a man.
This is Sparta!
It's what makes men more disagreeable, more assertive. It's why they say roid rage, the guy that's angry all the time because he's taking steroids. And those people tend to be, like I just said, more disagreeable. And why the governments and authorities do not want you to be like this, they want you to be more passive, is because then you are a slave in their system. If they tell you to do something that benefits them, then you are more likely to do it if you are more agreeable and less disagreeable. If they tell you to take a certain thing for a virus, which is really just a cold, that has a 99.9% chance that you will survive, or higher if you're even younger than that, then you will just do it anyway because you are more agreeable. You will do what they tell you to do and be a slave in their system. If you told men 100 years ago to close their businesses down for that exact same thing, they would have just said go do one. They would not have done that because strong men are going to actually fight against tyranny and against these draconian measures that we see in the modern world. That, in my opinion, is why they are pushing this agenda so much. And even if I'm not 100% right, I think most logical people can watch this video and accept that I'm a lot closer to being right than what they're telling you. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. The video on screen right now is what I want you to watch next. It's going to help you even more with your nutrition. I just list out some fats, proteins and carbohydrates that are going to help you to incorporate into your diet, to be healthy, to live a longer life. And that is what I want for you. So click through and watch that video next.